Hey everybody, happy Monday. I am out today, so this video is going to explain to you what your jobs are and your tasks for the day. So first, we have the week 25 power words. There are two I's, and we're out of room for all the I slides. So if you guys remember, you click the entire slide, copy, click in between the slides and paste, and it creates a new one. You are going to have to delete the words that get copied over, but you guys are good with that. First word is imply, and that means to suggest without stating explicitly. So instead of coming out and saying something, you might imply and suggest and kind of dance around the idea. So, for example, if I was giving a really easy quiz, instead of saying, "Oh, the quiz is easy," I'll just say, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. You guys will be fine." So it's a suggestion. You're kind of being subtle about what you're saying. So the teacher implied the quiz on Friday would be easy. All right. And like I said, the ways to remember, it's a suggestion, it's a hint. You're just being kind of sly and subtle about something. Second I word is interpret, which is you're explaining the meaning of something. So if you have an interpreter, they're taking Spanish and they're turning it into English, or Arabic to English. It's just making the explanation easy to understand. So the example that I have is the board game had rules that were easy to interpret to young children. It's just your understanding of something, and if you could explain the meaning. I'm doing that all the time with like my younger kids. What does that mean? Oh, it means this. All right. All the way down to L is legible. So you guys no doubt have heard the term illegible before, which is like not able to read, like you have really sloppy handwriting or something. Legible is capable of being read or understood. So if you're filling out a form by hand, at a doctor's office or something, the form needs to be neatly filled out and legible so people can actually read it. All right. Some of you have very legible handwriting, and some of you have illegible handwriting. So the word there's legible. All the way up to C we ran into the same problem again. So we're out of C words. So copy and paste that. We made another one. Contra is against. All right. So this is the prefix for the week. Lawyer's argument contradicted the criminal story. So the prefix contra is going against something. So on the contrary, to contradict, contraband. Contrabands are like items that you shouldn't have in school. So if you have a phone in school, it's contraband. You shouldn't have it. Or even compare and contrast, which we're doing in class now. It's like the argument against something. Contrast, contra. All right. So those are the 4 words for the week. And what I'm going to ask you guys to do, if you want to pause the video right now for a few minutes, is take 5 and do Guess My Google. Okay, for imply, legible, interpret, and the prefix contra. All right. All right, so hopefully you built your Guess by Google, you paused the video, and you're picking it back up. The second thing that you have is, and it comes to no surprise, I've posted the Journal 7 document to type in. So last week we've been doing the reading, doing the journals, so now it's time to type that. You guys are going to have time today to work on it. The teacher's question for the week, and it's written over there on the board or on the cabinet. What's one major lesson you took away from this book, and explain it using specific details from the story? All right. Last week we discussed a lot about Prometheus and Daedalus, and yes, we're learning like made up stories with fake characters that never really existed, and that's really not the point. The point of those Greek myths is to take away an idea or a lesson from the story. Okay, so it's not something like, oh, Daedalus pushed his nephew off the roof. It's, a deeper meaning behind that. Make sure that you're not too pride, or with great power comes great responsibility, or make sure that you're following the rules and listening to your parents, which is a big part of the Icarus story. So it's not something you learn about the story, it's a lesson the book teaches. We've taught this before as theme, so like the moral or the theme of the story. So think beyond the literal words in the book to come up with a lesson, and just make sure that you're explaining it using specific details from the story. All right, so that is your second task. Obviously, this is due on Friday, March 24th, and somehow we're already to the or not due Friday, March 24th. It's due on the 28th, already end of March. All right, third is amplify. So just like we normally do, we're splitting the class between the journal time on Mondays. We have a couple things here on amplify, and we're discussing Prometheus's punishment. Okay, so Prometheus gives fire to the humans. He disobeys Zeus. He's the king of all the gods. He's the most powerful, and Prometheus disobeys him, and so he's chained on the mountain. He's tortured forever. All right. So you have a few tasks here. First of all, you're going to talk about. Let me get back to number one. I have all these little bars here, and they block my stuff. Okay. First, you have some simple questions. What does Zeus finally decide will happen to the human race, and which quote offers the best evidence for the answer to the previous question? So you're making a claim and supporting it there, which is no surprise. For number two, this brings up the interesting question, and it says that like Zeus changes his mind about how to punish the humans. The humans at first don't want fire, but then they change their mind and accept it from Prometheus. But Prometheus is the only character in the story who never changes his mind. He's always pushing for the humans to have fire. And this is the question that I want you to ask. You don't have to do a CER or anything. I just want you to explain yourself. How could the fact that Prometheus doesn't change his mind relate to his endless punishment? He's chained on that mountain forever, supposedly. He does get, freed eventually, but he's supposedly up there forever. So how does him being consistent with his idea relate to that endless punishment? So I just want to hear your opinion and your ideas about that. All right. In number three, you're going to answer the questions about the Prometheus myth, and then highlight a word that supports your claim and write a sentence that explains your choice. So you're going to be asked today if you think that the punishment is fair or unfair. Okay. Remember, he gives humans the ability to live and develop and evolve and build things, and he also creates a problem for them because they are now fighting and making weapons and hurting each other. Okay, so Zeus punishes him because he goes against Zeus's word. Is that punishment fair or unfair? And then in number four, I'm asking you to explain it. Okay. Is Zeus's punishment of Prometheus fair or unfair? Use at least three reasons to support your claim. I am asking for a CER here. You don't have to put a citation in that says like Prometheus, because I know exactly where the information comes from, so don't worry about that. What I am looking for is claim, evidence, and reasoning. Is it fair? Yes. Here's why. Is it unfair? No. Here's why I think that. Okay. You're going to have to think about the result of his actions. Is he just wrong for going against Zeus, or is he wrong for creating a problem for these humans? Totally up to you, totally for your opinion, okay? So those are your tasks for today. You obviously can look back at this video as much as you want, but bottom line, make sure at the end of the class when that bell rings, you have the digital dictionary filled out, you have your Guess by Google done, maybe some work on the journal, and then this writing piece for Zeus, all right, and Prometheus. Have a good one. I will see you on Tuesday.